sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so let's dive into this Arsenal match that's got everyone buzzing. 1-0 loss to Arsenal. Yeah, it stings a bit for sure for Chelsea fans, but before anyone starts panicking about the whole season, we found this article from the Chelsea Chronicle, and they give 3 pretty solid reasons why Blue supporters shouldn't be hitting that panic button just yet. What do you think?
I think what I find really interesting about this article is that it pushes us to look past just the immediate result and think about everything else that's going on. In football, it's like in life, I guess, perspective is everything.
For sure. And the first point they bring up, it's a big one for Chelsea. Reece James played, 82 minutes? After those hamstring issues, that's got to be a huge sigh of relief for everyone, right?
Absolutely. I mean, he's the captain. He's the heart of that defense. Back in action for a tough, physical London derby. Remember, this is the guy that Ian Wright, Arsenal legend, called brilliant last year.
Yeah.
So having James back at this level, it's huge, not just for his defense, but for the whole team's morale.
Yeah, I bet. It's like that boost you get when a star player steps onto the pitch. Suddenly, everything feels different,
Totally. But it makes me wonder what makes James such a standout defender. I mean, brilliant is a pretty big compliment to just throw around.
Right.
I think when you watch James play, he's got this unique mix of power and precision. His tackling is tough, but he's smart about it, disciplined. And he just reads the game so well, intercepting passes left and right. Then you add in what he does going forward, overlapping runs, crosses into the box. He's a threat everywhere on the pitch. To see him back and almost at 100%, it's a big reason for Chelsea fans to be optimistic.
Absolutely. Okay, so James is back, but there's another return that caught my eye. Romeo Lavia, first time on the pitch since January. The article even mentioned how he was dodging Arsenal's pressure late in the game. What's the big deal about having him back?
Lavia changes the whole midfield. He's got this knack for staying calm when everyone else is freaking out, just weaves past opponents, keeps possession, and his distribution, top notch. He's like a pressure valve. When things get tense, he releases it, creates space for everyone else to work.
So it's not just him being good, it's how he makes the whole midfield better.
Yeah, exactly. And, Arsenal's midfield is known for their pressing, but Lavia just danced through it, cool as a cucumber. That's something Chelsea can definitely use going forward.
Yeah, it's like having a secret weapon that throws the other team off just by being there.
Exactly. He has a whole new tactical layer that could be really important as the season goes on. But we got to be real. Even with all that, Chelsea lost the match.
Yeah, 1-0. Can't ignore that.
Yeah.
But that's where the article's third point comes in, right? Chelsea are still in that Champions League spot, 4th place.
And this is where things get interesting. To really get why this matters, you got to understand the Premier League. It's a dogfight up there. Top 4 is brutal, but the rewards are massive. Getting a Champions League spot, it's not just bragging rights, it's a financial game changer.
So even though the loss hurts, Chelsea are still in a good spot to reach a major goal. They haven't dropped in the table, and Man City drew their match, so no one gained any ground there. Seems like a lot to be positive about.
Absolutely. That's the point this article drives home. It's saying, hey, don't let one result get you down. Chelsea's season is far from over.
It's like they say, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, right? In this Arsenal match, maybe it's a learning experience for Chelsea. What do you see any big takeaways from this match?
I think there's definitely stuff to look at. I mean, James and Lavia coming back is great, but there were times when Arsenal's attack kind of exposed some weaknesses in Chelsea's defense. Like that goal, for example, came from a quick counter. Chelsea were out of position.
True. Even with James back, it felt like Arsenal's wingers kept finding space behind the defense.
Exactly. And if you really break those moments down, figure out how Arsenal took advantage of those gaps, that's how you can make adjustments, turn it into a positive.
So it's not just about being happy about the players who came back. It's about learning from those mistakes and using them to win next time.
Yeah. And the article kind of hints at this too. Chelsea are still in a race here. And there's someone right behind them, Newcastle United. They have a game in hand because of that Carabao Cup final.
Oh, right. That game in hand could be a problem for Chelsea and their Champions League hopes. How worried should they be about Newcastle?
Newcastle are a serious threat, no question. They've been playing so well all season, really confident, high energy. And with that game in hand, they could jump ahead of Chelsea. Makes the whole top 4 race even more interesting.
So the pressure is on for Chelsea. Got to stay in form, hold off Newcastle.
For sure. Every point matters now. But that pressure can be good too, right? It can push the team, make them work harder, refine their tactics, and prove they belong.
Yeah, it's like one of those high-stakes poker games where every hand is crucial and you can just feel the tension building.
Huh. Good analogy. And that's what I like about this article and the whole situation. It's not just about the wins and losses, it's about how you handle it, you know? The resilience, adapting to things, always trying to be better.
It's about facing those tough moments head on and figuring out how to grow even when things don't go your way.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's something we can all learn from. I mean, how many times do we face things in our own lives that seem impossible? How often do we let one bad thing ruin everything?
It's easy to get stuck in that negativity and forget about the bigger picture.
Yeah, and that's why I think this article's message is important. It's saying, hey, even when you lose, there's always something to learn, something to grow from, and you can always come back stronger.
It's about changing your perspective and realizing that the journey is just as important as the end goal.
Exactly. And that's something worth remembering, whether you're a football fan or just going through life, you know?
So for all the Chelsea fans listening who are maybe, I don't know, feeling a little down after that Arsenal match, let's go back to what we talked about today. There's some good stuff in there to hold on to.
Yeah, it all comes back to how you look at it, right?
Yeah.
If you get past that initial sting of the loss, you see these key players coming back who can really make a difference. You see how they can learn from what Arsenal did to them. And, you know, the biggest thing is they're still in a good spot to hit their goals for the season.
It's like sometimes even losing can set you up for bigger wins later on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, think about those legendary teams, the ones everyone remembers. They didn't just win all the time. They learned from their losses, adapted, and came back stronger.
It's that toughness, that refusal to quit that makes them special.
Totally. And that's what I see with this Chelsea team. They've had some rough patches this season, but they don't let it get to them. They use it to get better, to try new things, and just keep pushing forward.
It's kind of inspiring, actually. It applies to anything, not just football.
That's the real lesson here, I think. Setbacks happen to everyone. It's how you deal with them that matters. Do you let them crush you, or do you use them to learn, to grow, and to come back even stronger?
Yeah. I think I know what the Chelsea squad would choose. And hopefully our listeners too. It's about taking on the challenge, finding the good in the bad, and remembering that even in a loss, there's always something to gain.
Couldn't have said it better. And on that note, I think that wraps up our deep dive for today.
Until next time, everyone, keep learning, keep growing, and yeah, keep finding those wins both on and off the pitch.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.